to KB Ants. In today's video I'm going to be doing an unboxing and review of the Best Ants UK camponotus hybrid nest complete setup. This setup comes with everything that you need to house camponotus, including the ants. You can, on the website, you can pick on the drop down menu of what ants you want. With this setup I've got the camponotus crutatus, which if you watch my last video, it's that exact colony that come with this setup. With this you get the nest, the ants, the outworld and all the utensils and stuff that you will need to keep the species. So we'll get on with the unboxing and then we'll talk a bit about all the different aspects of this nest and stuff. First things first, you've got the ant colony in a bit of insulation tube to keep the temperature nice and normal. So this is the ant colony, which you would have seen in my care video that I did. So if you're unsure about how to keep these ants, I'll leave a link in the description to that video so you can check out, just to make sure that you know everything that you need to know to be able to care for this species. I'll also be telling you a little bit about the species in this video, just to make sure that you know 100% how to keep the species. So like all the stuff I've received from Best Ants UK, it's all well packaged. I've never ever had anything broken, or queens have never arrived dead or anything like that. It's always excellently packaged, and so yeah, thanks again to Best Ants UK for sending all this and for letting me do this review for all my subscribers. So in here you've got a bag with some tubing, some organic honey, amongst other stuff. So this is the organic honey. Yeah, pipette. Like I said in all my other videos, you can never have enough pipettes. You have some fake plant decorations. Also with the magnifying glass card. And there's the fake plants, which are a nice touch. You also get some tweezers. A water test tube. Some tubing to connect your outworld to your nest. And another connector here. This looks to be the small camponotus hybrid nest. Really well packaged, lots of bubble wrap. So that's the nest, all with the protective film on the acrylic. There's your ports to go to the Queen's test tube and your outworld. It's all held together with a rubber band to stop all the acrylic sheets from coming off in transit. So you've got the blackout acrylic sheet, your red acrylic sheet, and this is the nest inside. It's got the wooden textured coating on the inside to make it a bit more natural for the camponotus ants. And also all the camponotus nests that Best Ants sell, they're all treated with nano gel on the internal of the nest, just to prevent any ants from chewing their way out, because obviously camponotus ants do have incredibly strong jaws, so that just prevents any ants from chewing their way out and escaping. which is obviously, you know, a really good thing to have for this nest. Again, you've got a really good quality hydration sponge, and then you've also got a cork stopper, and if you take that off, it gives you a little hole into the nest. So now what this is used for is when you're hibernating your ants, they very rarely leave the nest, they normally just stay in the nest. So this is used for putting a little bit of honey on a little cotton ball and putting it inside the nest, so they've got, you know, a bit of food source whilst they're hibernating. Otherwise they're not going to get anything while they're hibernating, so that's obviously a really good bonus for this nest. When you put the cotton ball in, you want to put a piece in probably once a week, and then if there's any remains left after 2 to 3 days, you want to remove that, just to prevent any mould or anything from building up on inside the nest. So yeah, that's a really good feature for this nest, is having this cork stopper, so you're able to still feed your nest when the ants are hibernating. You only ever want to use it for honey, and that's it. You don't want to use it for insects or anything like that, and you don't need to use it when the ants aren't hibernating. You should only really use it once when they are hibernating. So yeah, that's the nest up close. It's really well made, 3D printed, but it's obviously, there's no threads or anything, it's just perfect, to be honest with you. So that's the nest. Take off some of this protective film. That's the red acrylic cover to stop any light from getting into the ants, so you can look at your ants without disturbing them too much. And this just fits on to here, and it's got the hole drilled through with the hydration sponges, so that you can still hydrate your sponge without taking this off and, you know, scaring the ants and stressing them out, which is obviously a good thing. And this is the blackout acrylic cover, which you just use when you're not wanting to observe your ants, just to make sure that it's completely pitch black, so no light at all getting. Because most ant species can't see the red light spectrum, so that's why we use red acrylic in the ant hobby. But some can still slightly see it, so to avoid that, that's why you've got the blackout cover, so that it's completely pitch black, there's no chance of any light getting in. So we'll carry on with the rest of the stuff in the box. So this looks to be the art world. Also, I'll leave a link in the description to the Best Ants website, so you can take a look for yourself. So this is the art world. It's got the metal vent in it with small holes so that ants can't escape through it. I'll probably be using Fluon on this, a Fluon barrier around the outside, but you probably won't, even if you don't use it, you're still not going to have ants escaping with it having this mesh on. But I'll use it anyway, just as a precaution, just for when you take the lid off to feed, you're not going to have ants running and escaping. It's got the holes pre-drilled in it with the connection inserts. These inserts just fit into the holes nice and snug. There's no gaps or anything, so no ants can escape through anything. There's nothing for them to escape through. You see, you have one side going to the nest, and then you can use the other side for expansion once your colony gets too big. So that's the art world. Very nice. It's got really high sides, so when you do use glue on, it's going to prevent them from being able to climb up to the top. So that's the nest and the outworld. Also with a setup, you get a bag of natural looking sand to put in the outworld. So that's the bag of sand, really nice. And then you get the Queen's test tube connection, which just places onto that test tube there, and then it connects directly to the nest. So that's that. So that's everything in the box. So we'll look at how the ants arrived. You have a little label with some important information on the test tube and the insulation tube. So I'll put a picture of the close-up up on the screen so you can have a quick read. Obviously, if you do buy from Best Ants UK, you'll be able to read it yourself, but this is just so you know what to expect. So now we'll look at connecting the outworld to the nest, and we'll decorate the outworld, and then in the end we'll connect the ants up to this nest. Go over just to make sure it's all secure, nice and tight, so you can get no escapees whatsoever. So that's the tubing connected to the outworld, and then all you want to do is just connect that up to the nest. Nice and easy, should have no problems doing this. And make sure that your clips are over where the tube's connected, just to make sure it's nice and tight. So that's the nest and the outworld connected up. And I would keep these stoppers for the nest connections, they just come in handy. So then the next thing we'll do is put the substrate in the outworld, and then put some of our fake plants in there. You get a generous amount of substrate. Just give it a quick shake to level it out. Put a little bit more in. I normally just put enough just so it's just high enough so it's up to where the entrance is for the nest, so they don't have to climb up the glass or anything to get out, climb up the acrylic to get out. So then you've got the plants, nest, with your fake plants, and then the nest attached to it. So the next thing you'd want to do is attach up your Queen's test tube or your colony's test tube to the nest. For this you will need the test tube connection, and another thing to know when you're doing this, you don't want to use any of the quick methods of moving your ants into the nest. So basically all you want to do is connect your test tube up to the nest, and then just let them move in their own time. Don't use heat or light exposure. What I'm going to do with this nest is with this test tube, I'll connect the test tube up to the nest, and then I'll keep the insulation tube on, or I'll take it off and just use the foil. And then I'll slowly, every day, I'll move the foil back just so a little bit of light can get in to the test tube, probably like a couple of millimetres a day, just so it's nothing too drastic and it doesn't stress them out too much. until eventually the whole test tube is exposed to the light over, weeks or months. No matter how long it takes. They might just move quickly on their own, but if not, then you just do that method. Just so it's nothing too drastic. It's not going to stress the ants out too much. So now what you'd want to do is get your test tube connection port, and then you want to connect it to the test tube and then connect the port to the nest. So you want to take the plug out of the nest. So you take this plug out, and then you want to connect your test tube connector to the nest first. But also, before you add the ants, you want to make sure that the nest is watered. So I'll do that now. So with watering your nest, you want to use either rainwater, bottled water, or RO water, something like that. You don't use tap water because it can cause mould in your nest or your test tube, whatever you're using the water for. Even if it's drinking water or anything like that, you don't want to use tap water. Anything that's purified, clean, you want to use, and in this case I'm using RO water. So I'll water the nest now, just so it's done before the ants are moving in. Just another way of stressing your ants out a little bit less. So that's all watered, you don't need to use much. So now put the test tube connector onto the nest. Make sure that the clamping clip is on where it's connected to the nest. So then that's all ready. You've got the connector on here, it's all ready. All you'd have to do now is take the cotton out and then push it straight onto the connector. For this you'd probably want to take the outworld lid off, just in case. Hopefully there shouldn't be, but just in case any ants escape while I'm doing this process, and then you can just pick them straight up and put them into the outworld. So we'll do that now. Take the cotton bud out and then attach it to the nest. Do it as quick as you can without stressing your ants out. That's connected. I've had a few escapees. You just drop them in gently into the outworld, so that way they can find their way back to the colony. So now that's done, you want to put the covers back onto the nest. Take this off now. So now the nest is all nice and dark, and then the ants can move into the nest in their own pace. You don't want to rush it, just let them do it in their own time. I don't think it'll take this colony long because it's quite a big colony, so they're ready for the extra space. So it shouldn't take them too long. So now you get a little bit of cotton, and I'm going to put a little bit of honey on it and then drop it into the outworld, just to give them a bit of food. So you get your organic honey that's provided in the setup, and just put a few drops onto a piece of cotton. The cotton's used just to prevent any of the ants getting stuck in the honey. just want to drop that into the outworld. And that's that. So that's the whole setup, all connected. Really easy, really simple to understand. There's no problems with doing it. It's a nice little nest. I'll do an update on how this colony does in the nest. I can only imagine it's going to be good, just because it's really well made, really well thought out. There's even an ant having some honey now. See if I can show you. There you go, what you can see. Just a few drops on a cotton ball. It also stops it from messing up the substrate and stuff like that. It's easier to clean up after a couple of days if there's any left. It's easier to take out and discard of. So yeah, that's the whole setup from above. You've got the test tube with the ants in connected to the nest, and then the nest connected to the outworld. And like I said, make sure that the clips are in the right place. You can see there that clip is over the plastic tube, just to make sure that there's a tight connection on the connector. And the same with this one, it's over the PVC tubing going into it, just to make sure it clamps down on it and there's no way of any ants escaping. And it's the same on this side, and it's the same on the test tube connector. So you should have no escapees or anything from this nest. It's all really well secure. I don't think I'm going to have any problems with it. It's perfect, to be honest with you. So that's been the video. I can already see ants actually walking from the test tube and into the nest, so obviously they like it. I don't think it's going to be too long before they're in there and all settled. So I'll do an update video on how this colony is doing in this nest. That'll probably be in a couple of weeks' time. I'll just leave them to relax and settle down in the new nest. So if you like this video, please remember to like and subscribe, hit that bell icon to stay up to date with all my new videos. And I'll leave a link in the description to Best Ants UK's website, so you can take a look at this nest and have a browse of the store. There's lots of interesting nests and really good nests on there. I've done a couple of other reviews, so if you want to take a look at them as well. So yeah, that's been the Best Ants UK Camponotus hybrid nest complete setup review. I hope you liked it, and I will be back with an update video soon. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one.